Thank you for tuning in to the Grower Supply webinar today on hydroponic growing. It is my pleasure to introduce Karen Meister, Senior National Account Manager here at Grower Supply. Karen has been with us for 5 years. She is a true expert when it comes to hydroponic growing as well as all topics in horticulture. You can also ask her if you're interested in a greenhouse and any other of the fantastic growing supplies we offer here at Grower Supply. So I will turn it over to Karen, who will start with our hydroponic webinar presentation.
Thank you, Jeff. Hi, welcome to our webinar. My name is Karen, and I have been here at Grower Supply for the last 5 years. Prior to that, a little bit about my past history. I managed a greenhouse and garden center for 5 years. I've also worked in the commercial rhododendron and azalea business, not only managing and selling to the Northeast region of the United States, but also did some propagation. I graduated with a green horticulture from the University of Connecticut. I have extensive gardens in my yard, and all in all, I've been in the horticultural industry for about a 28-year period. Topics I'm going to try to talk to today is, first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company, Grower Supply. We'd also like to touch on controlled environment agriculture, hydroponics 101, the different types of hydroponic systems, medias and container, crops, nutrients, pollination, self-sustainability, and why you should pick us, Grower Supply, for all your one-stop shopping. Grower Supply is one of the leading manufacturers of greenhouses and high tunnels in the United States. We ship hundreds of high tunnels and greenhouses annually. We've been in business for the last 30 years. We have 2 campus facilities. One, our manufacturing and distribution center in Dyersville, Iowa. The second is our corporate headquarters in South Windsor, Connecticut, where I work in our call center. All in all, we have 400 employees between the 2 locations. Let's talk a little bit about Grower Supply's controlled environmental agriculture. What that means is that it's an advanced and intensive form of hydroponic-based agriculture. In other words, it's where the crop's environment is actually manipulated and controlled. Plants are grown within a controlled environment, and horticultural practices can then be optimized. We at Grower Supply have designed, engineered, manufactured, and built our 2-bay CEA greenhouse on our Dyersville campus. That's how passionate we are about CEA. We expect the greenhouse to be fully operational in January, and we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony. We plan on hosting seminars, hands-on shops, and hosting educational events at this location. In the greenhouse, we'll be able to have both a Dutch bucket system and also an NFT hydroponic growing system. We'll be growing and eating lettuces, greens, herbs, cucumbers, pole beans, peas, peppers, and tomatoes. We're pretty excited about that. Hydroponics is a method of growing plants in water without soil using mineral nutrient solutions. It's a way to grow plants previously grown in soil in a minimal mineral nutrient solution. It was discovered back in the 19th century that soil was not essential for plant growth as long as you provide some nutrients in the water supply. However, there is evidence that hydroponics have been around for hundreds of years. In fact, there might even been plants grown hydroponically in the hanging gardens of Babylon. Hydroponics is increasing in popularity among commercial and hobby growers. It can be used anywhere worldwide, and it can also be done year-round. It's a cost-effective method of growing high-quality produce while maximizing yields year-round. Some of the benefits of hydroponic growing are you end up with larger, high-quality crops due to controlled nutrient ratios, which result in higher yields, lower labor costs, and again, it can be done anywhere in the world. There's no herbicides necessary because there are no weeds. There's also no invasive plant growth to worry about. The systems themselves use up to 90% less water compared to growing in soil. This results in high yields in a minimal growing space. Again, much lower labor costs for growing and harvesting, and again, there's no need to water. This can be used in areas where soil-based cultivation is impossible, such as locations with poor soil or where water supplies are limited. No soil-borne diseases passed among the crops means that there's going to be less root disease caused by the soil itself. Again, these all result in extended growing seasons due to that controlled environment agriculture. Some of the types of drip seasons that we know and learn about in hydroponics is Dutch or Beto buckets. Dutch buckets, as we call them in the United States, are known as Beto buckets in Europe. It's a situation where each plant's roots are suspended in a media using rock-wool cubes with perlite. The nutrient solution is dripped onto the media near the plant's base, most often utilizing dripper stakes in a drip system. Some of the advantage of Dutch buckets or a drip system include increased water efficiency, proper root aeration, which again is essential for healthy growth of plants. It's also perfect for growing trellis crops and vine varieties, as you can see in the picture. This type of hydroponic growing is nutrient film technique, or NFT for short. In this system, the roots are suspended in a channel, and a shallow stream of nutrient solution runs along the base of the channel, flowing past the roots. This particular type of system runs all day, and gravity feeds the water down the channels on a slope. The solution is recirculated through the channels, and a thick root mass develops inside the channel, which remains moist from the nutrient film. Water and nutrient waste is also minimized due to the recirculation system. This results in a perfect growing environment for lettuce, Swiss chard, basil, microgreens, strawberries, and other leafy crops. Let's talk a little bit about our NFT hydroponic channels. Our channels are custom designed and made for us. They're constructed from UV stabilized plastics that are NSF certified. In fact, they're actually made from recycled vinyl windows. They all have removable snap-on lids, which provide easy system maintenance with minimal downtime. They're manufactured to food-grade specifications, so they're perfect for naturally grown productions. The contoured base centralizes the nutrient flow, and the contoured lid also allows excess water to run off. This provides maximum aeration to the roots. Ours also come with a 20-year manufacturer's warranty against defects in workmanship. We offer 3 sizes of our GrowTech NFT commercial channels. The first is our GT50 series. The smaller of the 3, it's 4 inches wide by 2 inches deep. The narrow, shallow channel suitable for smaller leafed varieties such as lettuce, herbs, bib lettuce, Boston lettuce, and much more. The medium channels, the premium GT70s, are wider, deeper, and suitable more for a larger leafy plant and vine varieties, crops that have a little bit bigger root mass, such as tomatoes, cukes, peppers, and zucchini. The deeper channel is important for the aeration and oxygen exchange that is so necessary for good plant growth. Last but not least, the premium GT80 channels, which are 9 inches by 3 inches deep, are a very versatile channel. They're more suitable for large pots, flower production, microgreens, and also animal fodder. If indeed you want to create your own custom channels, you can do that as well. You just simply cut the channels to whatever length you need, take a hole saw and cut the holes in the lid to the desired size and space, depending upon what you're growing, and put the pieces together and you'll be ready to go. In comparing our NFT channels to our competitors, ours are custom designed and again manufactured to our specifications. With the deeper root channels that are necessary for larger plants, this allows maximum oxygen at the root zone for bigger, more vibrant and marketable crops. Our removable lids make it much easier to not only clean, but also to access your plants. The removable lids also give you a versatility to change crops just by changing the lids. Different hole sizes, different hole spacings allow you to grow many different varieties out of the same channel. They're manufactured from long-lasting UV-stabilized materials that are endorsed as National Sanitation Foundation food grade quality. This is important to note because, again, if you're growing food, you want to make sure that you're growing it in a safe channel. Thicker channel walls also withstand all major weather conditions and resist channel buckling, maintaining shape and optimum flow performance. Our channels come with a 20-year manufacturer's warranty. Our GT50-672 hydroponic lettuce system allows you to produce a large amount of lettuce in a very small footprint. The unit itself is 6 feet by 12 feet by 3 feet, and it's perfect for both hobby and commercial growers. The small system footprint makes it ideal for setup in garages, basements, hobby greenhouses, and if you do need to add lights, we can help you with that. It gives you the ability to earn some extra money with high-quality lettuce and produce in your home. It's designed for a 6-week grow cycle of leaf lettuce, which will end up yielding up to 3,700 heads of lettuce a year for a 26 crop rotation during the year. The unit itself has 144 holes. Again, if you turn the crop 26 times, you're going to end up with 3,744 heads of lettuce, resulting in maximum production of yield in a very small footprint. Our GT50 hydroponic lettuce system includes 10 GT50 channels, each measuring 4 inches by 2 inches by 12 foot long. The system itself consists of 8 regular channels and 2 nursery channels. The channel lids have 18 1-inch sight holes that are spaced 18 inches on center, and the nursery channels have slightly less spacing to accommodate the lettuce crop. The table frame is manufactured from the same 1.315 OD pipe that's American-made and triple galvanized that we use in our greenhouses. It's designed for long life in the corrosive environments that can be seen in a greenhouse. The system itself comes complete with nutrient reservoir tank, a magnetic drive pro pump to recirculate nutrient solution, an air pump, air stones, and all the necessary plumbing and fitting adapters that you're going to need to grow your crop. We recommend our grower supply light fixtures if additional lighting is needed. We also have a full line of nutrients, and we recommend the Grodin starter plug sheets made out of rock wool. Let's talk about some of the different media and containers that are offered. The Dutch buckets themselves, 11-liter buckets. There's a space for 2 siphon elbows so that the nutrient solution can then be drained, and a drip system to provide the water nutrient solution to the plants. We recommend the use of the chemically inert inorganic perlite. Perlite has a great water holding ability. It's sterile and has lots of nooks and crannies for that important oxygen space, again, so that you'll end up with a nice root system and a healthy plant. The drippers as well are put into the perlite and to deliver the solution to the roots of the plant. This helps the plants thrive, provides aeration and drainage, yet it still retains and holds a substantial amount of water, which is released when needed. The rock wool is what the seeds are started in. It's made out of spun molten rock that has an excellent ability to hold not only water but oxygen for the root system. It's ideal for starting seeds before you transfer either into the channels, or if you choose to use net pots, you can use it for that as well. It is recommended that you soak the rock wool overnight in a pH solution of 5. Rock wool does sometimes have a tendency to have a high level of pH. You want to bring that down so that the plants will get a nice healthy start. Again, take the rock wool and then you put it into the standard 10-20 flats, which will hold the rock wool and also provide a reservoir for the water needed. Hydroponic crops, what can be grown? Well, it's only limited by your imagination or whatever market you're providing for. Some of the more popular choices that are grown not only year-round but also worldwide are lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, cucumber, squash, basil, cilantro, dill, microgreens, and strawberries. Again, since there's no soil for the plants to take up nutrients, we must provide that in the water solution. Growers sometimes will create their own hydroponic nutrient solution based on whatever crop that they're growing. Both organic and inorganic fertilization and nutrients are available. Common nutrients and micronutrients that must be provided are calcium, magnesium, potassium, nitrate, sulfate, nitrogen, dihydrogen phosphate, to name a few. The premix solutions give you the correct concentration that you're going to need to provide to your plants. Some organic-based natural and sustainable nutrient systems are also available. Specialized commercial hydroponic nutrient systems are perfect for large-scale operations. Pollination. In a greenhouse, obviously, if you've got all the vents closed, you're not going to be able to have the insects that are necessary that will result in flowers or fruits. So sometimes hydroponic plants have to be pollinated by hand. Plants have the access to unlimited nutrients and water, and because of this, they can grow up to 10 times faster and healthier than soil-grown plants. Pollination is not important to the leaf and root crops, like the leafy greens, spinach, herbs, or lettuce, because there's no flowers or fruit. However, self-pollinating plants, which contain flowers with both male and female parts, need to have some kind of help with pollination, as do the cross-pollinators. When it comes time, you may have to lend a hand to pollination when your fruiting crops sprout flowers and the petals curl back. You're going to want to transfer pollen every other day for 4 to 6 days. It's recommended that it's best to do this early to midday when the humidity is lowest and before the pollen is killed by heat or dryness. You just transfer the pollen from the anther on the stamen to the stigma of the pistil and hopefully end up pollinating the plant so that you end up with a fruit. Hydroponic growing has eliminated the need for soil and its microorganisms, resulting in better crop quality, higher growth rates, and healthier produce. More people can be fed using less natural resources. No soil erosion or water contamination. Again, less water is needed than conventional soil growing as well. It can be grown with small environmental footprints, which results in land and soil conservation. Water is conserved and recycled, and when mixed with aquaculture in parts of the world where crop space is limited, people can grow their fish and vegetables in one space. We partner with a company, Nelson and Pade, who help us advising other customers in the aquaculture field. Why should you call us? Well, Grower Supply has been around for a long time. We're a reliable American company. We have more than 30 years of experience, and our NFT channels are American made. We can provide you with custom designed hydroponic systems that grow high quality produce on a small or a large scale. We do offer commercial hydroponic consulting, and as such, we can outfit your entire operation from propagation seed heat mats to greenhouses and everything in between. Our national account managers can guide you through the process. We offer personalized service, and we can provide recommendations and tips based on our experience and product knowledge. Not only do we have horticulturists here on staff, but we maintain an educational program where we are constantly learning more about our products and how they will help our customers achieve success. Grower Supply offers commercial hydroponic consulting where we can help in as little or as much as you want. We can design, plan, and help you with startup if that indeed is what you're looking to do. We also have many flexible options as far as financing is concerned. We can have in-house financing of terms up to 10 years with rates as low as 4.99 and as little as 10% down. We also offer several other finance options with 0% interest. You can call one of the account managers and they'd be happy to discuss this with you. If indeed you have any questions or need more information, please feel free to contact me. You can reach me directly at 800-476-9715, extension 207. Or please, if you have access to a fax, you can fax me at 866-488-2269. Or I'm also available at kmeister@growersupply.com. I want to thank you very much for attending our webinar today. And please, if you need any questions answered, I will try my best to do that. If I don't know the answer, I'll try and find it for you. Again, we'll take questions now. So I'll be back in a minute or two to take those questions. Thank you. Welcome back again. Again, this is Karen Meister, one of the National Account Managers at Grower Supply. And we do have some questions coming in from our audience that I'm going to try and answer to the best of my ability. Paul writes in, are you using NFT channels for vine crops? Yes, indeed, Paul, you can use NFT channels. We would recommend that you go with the GT70s. Again, they have a little bit wider and a deeper channel. Certainly that will give you enough aeration for some of the vine crops like tomatoes, cucumbers, squash. Cole asks, are there specialized seeds for hydroponic? No, you can just use just about any kind of seed you want. You just want to make sure that the seeds are clean. And if you're going to go ahead and grow tomatoes, I would advise you to go with an indeterminate variety. That way the plant will keep producing flowers as long as you continue growing it. Catherine asks, can the systems be maintained without electricity? In other words, can it be run by gravity only without the pumps? Well, you probably could do that by sloping the channels, which is necessary in an NFT situation. However, that being said, you still need a way to pump the water through the channels. So if you can run the pumps either on a solar power or something on battery power, then yes. Otherwise, you're going to need electricity to run the pumps and the meters. April asks, what are the lengths of your NFT channels? Our channels come in 10, 12, and 20-foot lengths. We also have joiners where you can extend the lengths if you want, or as I stated earlier, you can also cut the lengths so that if you need a channel of a certain size, you can take a skill saw with a fine blade and just cut it to whatever size you want. Again, the lids also are cuttable, so you can end up with whatever size NFT channels you want. But our stock sizes are 10, 12, and 20 feet. We also do take and will make custom sizes. However, you do have to order a minimum amount for that to happen. Edwa asks, what do you use or recommend for cleaning the channels or buckets? What we recommend is a weak bleach solution, 10% or similar to what you'd use when you sanitize your pots. Chris asks if we carry books on hydroponics. Yes, indeed, we do. In our new catalog, you'll see we have an entire series written by Dr. Lenore Morgan, who's a world-renowned expert in the field of hydroponics. You can purchase those either online from us or out of our catalog. How do you prevent perlite from plugging up the Dutch bucket drain hole? Well, you can use a piece of screening, fine mesh, shade cloth, weed mat, or a geotextile fabric. Anything that will allow the water to still go through without a problem. Randy wants to know that we recommend indeterminate tomatoes with our system. With ideal growing conditions and the ready nutrient solution, how high do the tomatoes typically grow or climb? Well, Randy, it's not unusual for them to grow 15 to 20 feet or longer than that. That's why a trellis system is so important. Basically, a trellis system consists of cable and cord along with an adjustable system so that you can raise and lower and move your vines along. George asks if the small drip lines on the NFT systems get plugged from the roots that break off or from the pieces of plug sheet. We've not found that that's happened. However, the drip lines bring water into the system and do go through a filtration system before returning back to the channels. If indeed you're finding that you are having a problem with that, our tees and our tubing is 1/8 inch. We also have the ability to swap that out for a 1/4 inch and with a tee and also with tubing. So if you find you're getting into that problem, you can always up to the next size. You address the maintenance of pH and conductivity. The optimum pH for most plants is somewhere between 5.8 and 6.2. Higher or lower, the nutrients are not going to be made available to the plants, and you're going to end up with nutrient lockout. You're going to start to see signs of stress in the plants and signs of mineral deficiencies. Some of those can result in yellowing of the leaves. You can end up with yellowing in between the leaf petioles and other such symptoms. So it's important to maintain a proper pH so that the plants end up healthy and marketable. Marcus asks, is there more information available on the nutrient sources as far as content and percentages? Yes, Marcus, there's tons of information available out there on the internet. In fact, there's an incredible amount of information. All you have to do is just weed through it. Jean wants to know whether or not raspberries and rhubarb can be done this way also. You'd need, because these plants are bigger in size, you'd need to go with some Dutch buckets for the larger root systems. But again, I don't see why not. It should work. Can root systems be grown hydroponically? Yes, indeed, they can. However, as a beginner, I wouldn't try them. Some of the more experienced growers do grow root crops. But again, it's something I wouldn't tackle unless you've got some sort of experience there. Is your tube-based system being built in Connecticut for customers to visit? No, unfortunately it's not. It's being built on our Dyersville, Iowa campus, and it will be available for touring. Again, we're hoping to cut the ribbons in January of 2012, and I'm sure we'll send out an email on that as well. How do you pollinate crops that require you to do it? Well, you can pollinate either by hand every other day if you want during that 4 to 6 day period, where you take the pollen and move it from the male part of the flower to the female part. Or you can also bring in beneficials. Beneficials would be things like bees or wasps that are used to pollinate the flowers. In Texas summer temperatures, they're very, very warm here, 100 degrees or more. Which is the best percentage of shade for this kind of climate? Well, Raphael, it depends on what crop you're growing. Usually with flowering plants, you don't want to go any more than 40 to 50%. However, if you're growing lettuce, lettuce can handle 60%. It really depends on what your crop is. Do you have any hydroponic systems presently growing in the Iowa location available for touring? Yes, Elizabeth, we do. Not only do we have our GT50 672 lettuce system, but we also have Dutch buckets, our fodder system, actually in production. In fact, so much so that my understanding is that all the employees in Iowa get free salad for their lunch. So that's a good thing. If you'd like, you can give me a call. I'd be more than happy to share with you the greenhouse manager's name and extension. I'm sure he'd be happy to see you. Alex is asking for our hydroponic lettuce system on the FarmTech website, but he can't find it. All you have to do is go in, and the actual part number for the GT50 series is 110830. You want to put that in the catalog item number. That will take you directly to the site, and you can download the instructions. If you go midway down the page, there's a gray box. Click on the instructions, and you can download that in PDF file. I have a small greenhouse. Can the lettuce system be customized to fit? Robert asks. Yes, indeed it can, Robert. We can adjust, or we can help you design your own to fit whatever space you're looking for. Just give us a call. Is this PowerPoint presentation available offline? It will be available on YouTube, and it will be available to download at a later date. Just wants to know, what does NFS certification mean? And is this still a PVC-based plastic channel? Why does Grower Supply not use high-density polyethylene fabricated channels? The same plastic milk jugs are made from. And is there any research done into PVC plastic chemicals leaching into the nutrient system? NSF stands for the National Sanitation Foundation. And what that does is it just certifies that this is made with food-grade recycled vinyl. The reason that we don't use HDPE channels is because they have a very high contract and contract and expansion ratio. So because of that expansion and contraction, they can run havoc on runs. It's very unstable, and we found that the vinyl that we use does a much better job. Do you offer startup kits? Yes. Again, our GT50 lettuce system is basically a startup kit. You can piggyback another unit onto it, and still, as long as your flow and head is okay for the pump, be okay with that. Are all your channels 12-foot length? No, we offer 10-foot, 12-foot, and 20-foot channels, as I said before, and you can cut them to whatever size you need. Can you speak a bit about testing for proper nutrient levels? Sure. The pH levels, again, will help to determine if the nutrients can be taken up by the plants. It's best to use either an EC or a total dissolved solid meter to monitor on a regular basis. In fact, in our particular system, we recommend that you take the meter and put it directly on the outside of the tank and record your measurements on a daily basis. That'll tell you when you're going to need to add either more nutrient solution or more water to get the proper ratio for the plants. Again, that's also pretty crop specific. Can the same channels for lettuce be used for microgreens? Yes. Although microgreens often are grown more in an open channel that's a little bit wider, where you'll go ahead and place the seeds similar to that is done in our fodder system at a certain depth along with water, and you end up with a thick mat of microgreens. In fact, I don't know about you, but I've bought microgreens in the grocery store where not only have they still had the microgreens attached to the mat, but I've had to cut them off myself before used. Same thing with hydroponically grown lettuce. It's not unusual to see the rock wool still on the base of the plant when you buy it in the supermarket. What is the best way of recycling the used nutrient solution when you need to change it? Well, again, what I would do is you could use it on your house plants, gardens, whatever's around. Most nutrients will be gone and used by the plants that you're growing. However, because the actual nutrient content is going to be less than when you first started because the plants that you're raising are going to use it up, you're going to find that it's not going to be too concentrated. How easy is it to get financing? That's easy. All you have to do is fill out a credit application, send it into our credit department, and you'll know in a short period of time. Can you grow different plants in the same channel at the same time? Hypothetically, yes. However, most plant varieties require different nutritional needs, and so because of that, you're going to have a problem regulating that. So I would stay away from that unless, of course, you're an experienced grower, and then go for it. Aware of anyone growing heirloom tomatoes hydroponically? Not personally, I'm not. However, I'm sure they're out there. People are growing an incredible variety of plants hydroponically. So it wouldn't surprise me if there were many people growing heirloom tomatoes. If you use NFT with rock wool plugs, do you have issues with root rot? I'm currently having issues with root rot on my lettuce. Any advice? Sure. A couple of things I'd start off with is you may be using too much water, so I'd cut back on that. Sounds like maybe the crown of the plant is sitting in too much wetness and causing rot. You can also use a fungicide or root shield. What do you use to test for all of these nutrients? We recommend our Hanometer for pH and EC, and again, we mount it directly onto the outside of our reservoir tank, so it's readily visible and you can see whatever the parts per million or millisiemens are at any time. How many holes does your lettuce system have? There's 72 nursery channels and 72 finishing sites. So basically you take the seeds, you put them into the rock wool until they germinate. Once that's happened, you take the rock wool and put it into the nursery channels. Then in 2 weeks, you take it from the nursery channels into the finishing sites. And in that time, 6 weeks has passed, and you're harvesting your first lettuce plants. What do you think of food-grade peroxide for cleaning? I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to use it. I don't know which is more inexpensive, food-grade peroxide or bleach, but either one would work. Will there be an open house to view the 2 bay greenhouses in Dyersville? Yes, we hope so. Again, however, as we get close, you can always give me a call. I'd be more than happy to let you know when we anticipate that happening. Have you heard of a product called BioWish? Yes, we have. We've been in contact with the vendor that's provided some for us. We're currently conducting research trials of the efficacy of it in different applications of hydroponics and fodder. We have no conclusions as of yet, but we are continuing to do our research and still gathering data. Amy has not received her Farm Tech or Grower Supply catalog in some time. Are they due out at any time? Yes, as a matter of fact, we just start our first mailing of our fall master catalog. So Amy, if you don't get one within the next week or two, please call us. We'd be happy to send one out for you. Well, that seems to be all the questions that we have at this point in time. So again, one more question here that just came in. What is the ideal production temperature, air temperature, or solution temperature for hydroponics? Well, as far as the air temperature is concerned, that really depends on whatever crop you're growing. Obviously, something like tomatoes are going to require a much warmer temperature, whereas something like lettuce is going to have to be cooler so that the lettuce does not bolt. The air temperature, again, with tomatoes, you don't want it too warm because otherwise they'll stop producing flowers. 68 to 72 degrees is the ideal water temperature. You certainly don't want it any warmer than 80 degrees. That's why we make chillers and chillers with heaters available for sale. When the roots get too warm, again, you end up getting nutrient lockout secondary to decrease root uptake of nutrients. So I hope that answers the questions that some of you might have had. If indeed there's anything that I can help you with, please don't hesitate to call me at Grower Supply. Again, I'm at extension 207, or feel free to email me any of your questions. Karen Meister is my name, and the phone number here again is 800-476-9715, extension 207. Thank you very much for participating today. We do appreciate it, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future.